Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome Team Business Forum members. I'm here with Ed Nash, a young entrepreneur from the UK. He was the developer for the iPhone app Fit or Fugly, if you guys remember. I'll let Ed explain this a little bit better, but basically, it allows someone to take a picture of yourself or that person and rate it according to an algorithm, and that determines based on that person's symmetry of the face, whether they're fit or fugly or not fit. And it was a big success. Got 5,000 downloads in the first week alone. So welcome, Ed. How did you get that idea for fit or fugly?
That's actually a good question. Funnily enough, I was at home. It was quite a few years ago now, and my dad actually offered to take me out for a drink. So we went to the local pub. This is 100% true, by the way, not made up. And we were sat down at the table, just having a drink. And we usually used to go out, have a drink, and again talk about business, life, how things are. If I've been away and things like that, it's always good to catch up. And we were just talking about, the applications. We both just got our iPhones, talking about apps and how sort of mobile could be the place to go, place to develop for. And so we were just sat there thinking, right, well, come on, let's try and brainstorm, think of some ideas, and think about what we can come up with. So we sat there, we must have gone through about 10, 15 ideas and sort of crossed them off. Or let's have a look into it. And sure enough, half the ideas we came up with were already out on the iTunes store. The other half were probably pretty much useless. But one that did strike was when we saw two women walk in. And as typical guys, I guess, we had a quick look, and I couldn't help myself, but I said, "Oh, she's quite fit," and Dad, as a joke, I imagine we had a couple of drinks by then, said the other, yeah, she's pretty fugly, the other one. So straight away we had our sort of bar cool, as it were. So we were laughing our head off, and then it sort of came to me. I was like, hold on, how about something where you can take a picture of someone, and at the time it was based on certain characteristics, so it was like, I don't know, body shape, or again facial features and things like that. So I sort of took it away, and Dad said, I actually quite like that idea. So I took it away, did a bit of looking around on the internet and things like that to see if that had already been done, and sure enough, it hadn't. And the only thing I could find which was similar to it was a site called Hot or Not, which I'm sure you guys all know is a big social network, or at least it was, which then sort of morphed into a dating agency. But it was all, again, based on picture rating and other people, rating on other pictures, saying, you're good looking, I think I'm good looking, let's meet up for a drink or something like that. So I was still at college at the time. So I was thinking about this app, how on earth could I get this into an iPhone application? And it wasn't until I went into school, told some of my mates about it, one of them, and he's just one of those guys who, just knows everything, or claims he does. And he said, well, you could use an equation called Fibonacci's golden ratio, which apparently is well, I hope it is to this day, but apparently it's an equation which has been used in TV programs and people worldwide to to judge whether you're scientifically attractive or not. And I think Fibonacci himself, I don't really know too much information about him, but how he devised this sort of ratio, I have no idea. But anyway, we managed to capture this ratio, put it into an iPhone application, and we started taking pictures of certain things, all privately, so this wasn't public, and just judging on the results. And once things started getting a bit further, I hired someone in to do the design work, so we had it was a sort of good looking app, and then we sort of thought, well, actually we think this could work. So I then actually took the development further. I outsourced all my development and design work to a company based in Belarus, called Apollon, who were very, very professional in what they'd done. They'd already had it was a big hit on the App Store with an app called iGirl, which you may or may not remember. It's probably one of the first ones out. But that was a paid app, one of the first, and did hugely well. So I found these guys and thought, well, they've had one success, I'm sure they can try and help me have another one. So sure enough, after months and months of development, we created Fit or Fugly, which is a similar product now to what it was when it first came out. And as you said, on launch day, we got some huge coverage from sites like Gizmodo, Huffington Post, Switched. It got a real social buzz going, and it was $1. It was 99 cents to download, and within the first week it reached number 6 in the entertainment category, and again it got to number 33 in the overall charts. So it was a huge success really from day one, and it's funny how things like that come about. And now, obviously we still own Fit or Fugly. We now own the domain, and we're trying to build a social network. I don't like to say similar to Whole. I think we've got a lot different and quite a unique USP to it. But I quite like the idea of combining a bit of science, obviously a bit of fun, and people do want to find out, am I attractive or not? So from that point of view, it works really well, especially for the young adults and teenagers to find out. So we're going to keep developing it, keep promoting it, and obviously listen to our users now. We have a strong user base, and the great thing with apps are you can, depending on obviously how you develop it, you can go back to them, ask them, how can we change this? What do you want to see in the application, etc., etc. So obviously if you listen to them and then bring out a future release with things they've asked for, it really does have a massive impact on how well your application is going to do. The biggest seller, I believe, is definitely word of mouth. So obviously if you're listening to users and doing what they want, they should tell their friends, via Twitter, via Facebook, and it snowballs like that. So I'm hoping using tactics like that it's going to continue to grow at the rate it has.
Okay, so how did you promote that app from day one or before day one? How did you tell people, hey, I have an app coming out, it's really cool, download it? Did you just start telling your friends about it, or did you have like?
Yeah, it was as simple as that. I think everyone will agree that having a good product, having a good idea is probably just half the battle. One of the things I definitely learned, and I know there's a question coming up, what sort of stuff did you learn whilst, with your failures and things like that? And one of them is actually, investing a huge amount of time and, most of your money. And obviously when you're younger, you don't have a lot of money, but if you're investing that much in the product itself and you leave not enough to market it, you might have a fantastic product, but at the end of the day, no one's going to be able to, to find it. So you're not going to sell anything. So from day one, we did a lot of pre-launch stuff. So I opened up a Facebook fan page, I opened up a Twitter account, and again, I just kept telling my friends, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. I actually started handing around, copies of the app, so I could send it to a couple of people, the good people. Apple do allow this, and they'd show their mates, oh, this is awesome, so when's it coming out? And I think as well, again, the brand name Fit or Fugly, it's really catchy, and once you tell it to someone, they're not going to forget it, just because it's quite a funny, quite a quirky name. So I think that did help as well. But like I said, if the product's right and you leave enough time for yourself and go about marketing it, smart, you can definitely make any application a success, I think. Okay,
good, great. Was that like your first real success, or did you have ones before?
I'd always been, like I said, I started actually online when I was about 12 years old. So now I'm 19. I've been online for 7 years, obviously, so quite a long time. But obviously when I first started, I can't believe this, but obviously iPhones weren't out. I remember my first phone was some sort of Nokia black and white, So it's amazing to think from, black and white phones to that, in a short space of time. It's amazing. But no, I started online creating websites. So it intrigued me. We actually have lucky enough to have a house in Spain, and one of my neighbours in Spain at the time was about 18 years old, and he owned a search engine. Like I said, there's about 6 years difference between me and him.
7 years ago, search engine.
Yeah, 7 years ago, and he owned a search engine called Vioda, which was really smart. It was a meta search engine, and I think I'm right in saying it might be one of the first of its time. So it searched Google, Yahoo, MSN to bring back, hundreds or billions of results, of course. And of course, it was claiming that its results were, better and bigger than Google. And he did well. He had a full-time career, and it was something that really hit me. Well, he's making money at a teenager, so why can't I? So I remember coming back from our holiday in Spain back to England, and I remember the whole way back I had a notepad. I bought a notepad. I was just writing down my ideas, and of course they're all search engine based. And I remember writing one called Solar Search, and even designing it on my notepad. And one I did stick with was called Red Eyes, which was a shopping portal, just using affiliate marketing and things like that. And again, friends and family, I told them, and they told their friends, and again it cottoned on. So that made me a bit of money. But definitely my biggest success was with a music network called Clusters, and that again was a website, and that was just before Spotify's time, and it gave people the opportunity to stream music for free, and we had a big forum on there, a lot of users, and I acquired some investment through Clusters. So as far as that went, that was a success. I reinvested part of the money back into the company to try and take it that next step. But then sadly, because of our friend Spotify came along, who, credit to them, they've done extremely well. And funnily enough, they did actually use the same marketing agency that we use down here in Southwest.
That's fun.
In the Southwest, which is obviously funny. So they're working on Clusters here and Spotify here. So it just so happens that Spotify obviously hit the nail on the head, got their marketing completely right, and at the end of the day, their product was better than ours. So they won that battle. So that was quite hard to get over. But I would say I learned a lot from it. It was a success. Version 1. But it just shows, I guess, another good lesson was the fact that one success definitely doesn't just guarantee with the same product you're going to have a success, version 2. Even if you're investing in it to make the product better, people do come along, they have new technology, and they're quick to overtake you in this industry. So Fugly wasn't my first real success, but it definitely was my first. It was my first ever application. It was my first move into the mobile development, and I'm sure even if it wasn't, then I'd still be trying to develop that next big hit on the iPhone now. But I guess I may have been slightly lucky that my first application was as successful as it was.